Pinocchio. In a town, there was an old man named Geppetto who earned his living making dolls. Geppetto lived alone. He was so lonely that he decided to make a doll which looked like a boy. Geppetto tried his best. He put a nice suit and a hat on him. He gave him a name, Pinocchio. Amazingly, the doll started to move like a human and talk to the grandfather.
Grandpa, thank you for making me.
Geppetto was very delighted and he took good care of him. However, Pinocchio was a bad boy, playing around all the time. Although Geppetto bought him books with his hard-earned money and sent him to school, Pinocchio sold the books and went to see the circus on his way to school instead.
Wahoo! There are so many exciting things in here.
Pinocchio was so excited that he started to dance. People watched him in amazement as the wooden puppet started dancing. The people watching Pinocchio gave him some money.
I should buy delicious snacks and nice toys with this money.
Then a fox and a cat came up to Pinocchio and lied to him.
Pinocchio, if you bury the money under the apple tree, the tree is going to bear money instead of apples, and you'll be able to buy even more snacks and toys.
After Pinocchio heard the story, he buried the money with excitement and went to bed. When the fox and the cat confirmed Pinocchio was sleeping, they took the money under the apple tree and ran away. When Pinocchio woke up from sleep, a pretty fairy showed up and asked, "Pinocchio, why are you sleeping here? Did you go to school?"
Yes?
As Pinocchio answered, his nose started to stretch. "Pinocchio, from now on, your nose is going to stretch like this if you lie."
I'm sorry. Actually, I didn't go to school. I'm not going to lie again, and I'll go to school every day.
As Pinocchio told her the truth, his nose decreased. "Don't ever lie again and study hard at school." Pinocchio promised the fairy and came back home. On the way home, Pinocchio saw an amusement park and he wanted to play again.
I'll just play for a bit.
He started to play, forgetting about the stolen money and the promises with the fairy. All of a sudden, a tail came out from his butt and his ears started to grow, and finally, he turned into a donkey.
Oh dear! I've become a donkey! I'm a donkey!
Pinocchio, who became a donkey, was dragged to the circus. He was beaten and trained every day. Pinocchio made a decision when he reached the limit where he couldn't bear the lash and the train anymore.
I would rather be drowned in the sea than live like this.
Pinocchio escaped from the circus and headed towards the sea. When Pinocchio arrived at the sea, he jumped into the water. Amazingly, his body returned.
Wow! Finally, my appearance came back to how it was before. Oh, thank God.
Pinocchio made up his mind, swimming under the sea.
If I go back home this time, I will study hard and become a good boy. And I'll listen to my grandpa very well.
Right then, a huge whale came up and swallowed Pinocchio with a gulp.
Help me!
Pinocchio recovered consciousness and looked around inside the whale's stomach. There was a dim light coming out from the inside, and someone showed up. The person was Geppetto, who had been eaten by the whale looking for Pinocchio.
Oh, Pinocchio, where have you been? I've really worried about you.
Pinocchio used his wits to save Geppetto.
Grandfather, if we tickle the uvula of the whale, he is going to sneeze. We should be able to get out of here then.
Pinocchio started tickling the whale's uvula. When the whale sneezed, Pinocchio carried his grandfather on his back and escaped from the whale's stomach. Fortunately, since Pinocchio was made out of wood, they weren't drawn into the sea and came back home safely. After Pinocchio got home, he went to school every day and became obedient to his grandfather. One day, the fairy showed up again. Pinocchio, you've become a good boy. This is a gift for good boys like you. The fairy turned Pinocchio into a real person. Geppetto saw this and gave Pinocchio a big hug. Pinocchio became a man and lived happily ever after with his grandfather Geppetto.